So a funny thing happened yesterday while I was working with technology. You wouldn't believe it. I'm sitting there trying to do the second video in the series on cold calling, which was talking about the success or otherwise of the visits that I had, and the mobile turned off. And I thought, "Oh, gosh, look at that. It's obviously that hot out there again that the mobile's just overheated." So I went and started another video, but I had been talking to the mobile for a good 5 minutes or so. And I wanted to make sure that the information I had at that stage was still included. Now, when I went home last night and checked some of the material, I realized that I actually hadn't had the video turned on. I had the camera turned on. So there I am talking away happily to my mobile phone with the camera and not getting anything recorded. That's the joy of working with technology, is we have things that don't always go according to plan. So, according to plan, how did we actually go, or how did I actually go in the cold calling expedition yesterday? The first video in the series explained the concepts of cold calling and some of the structure, and the second one is like truth or tell, what really happened. So I've gotten here on the screen um, the list of customers that I went and approached. So the first two were branch offices. I know that they're branch offices because the first time I went through that area, I found out. And usually I will do some research, see if I can get the head offices, put them on a mailing list. But generally, it gets pretty hard yakka to get into those people. And their use for my services is usually pretty limited unless they're looking for expansion of property. They usually have their own property department. And there's not a lot of opportunity we have, so we just make sure that they know I'm here and they can get me if they want to. Right, the third business I haven't marked down here as too small. Now, once again, if it's a cold call and it's the first time you've been to that area or in that business, I would still go and present to them. And what I'll do is give them one of these brochures. And you'll find that that brochure is actually quite strategic. I put my business card in an innocuous place, which blocks the photos, because people will have a look at it. You give them a brochure, you need to stop talking because they will actually look at the brochure first. And what I've done is it's very cleverly, I think, is I put two photos at the top. I have two main areas, Harvey Bay and Bundaberg. So I have a very iconic photo for Bundaberg is the Bundaberg River, and similarly for Harvey Bay, which is the Harvey Bay Boat Club. So everybody who gets my brochure, the first thing they feel is, oh, he's a local. And it's all about connecting with people. So in those instances where I've got a business that may be too small, I still give them the brochure. They may want to sell or they may want to buy something or expand. You never know. Don't let appearances fool you. But in this instance, the second time around to this client, I know that they're small. There's not much happening. They didn't even look very active. So I have the right to qualify, as we say. Now, I also put a caveat on that. You probably heard me before. Each morning I say a couple of prayers and I say, God, put me in front of the people you want me to help today. And then I say, God, now help me to help the people that you put me in front of. And by missing the people that are too small, I don't feel too worried about it because if God wants me to address it, yeah, he'll open the doors or make it happen. I've had I've had a client chase me down the street after I've visited his place and gone to another one. So yeah, there are instances where if they want you, they will come and get you, and they've also got brochures so they can get you. Right. So number four, that is a business and an industrial area. You get a lot of these. They are pretty much just a shop front. It's just a storage area. They come in the morning, particularly for tradies, fill up their truck, get things organized, close the doors, and go out in the field, and they come back at the end of the day. So there's not much you can do. Once again, previously I've set a brochure there, so they know I'm there.
Yes, I'm not the only one who's too hot. The poor old mobile with the camera to the side, nah, too hot, we're going to shut down. So we've gone to somewhere a little bit shadier and hopefully it'll last a bit longer. So we were talking about the progress on each ones. So the fifth property I went to, that was the one that was for sale previously. So I went in and caught up with them to find out why they're off the market. And look, it was great news. They actually managed to sell that business and sell it to an investor. So that's a great result for them because I knew the actual owners. So missed that one a little bit, but you know, life goes on. The important thing is, as long as there's activity in the marketplace, then you'll just keep getting more activity. The sixth one was too small. The seventh one, they've just moved into that premises and I've got their details previously. from where they used to be. The eighth one is an out-of-town player who I've got details for. The ninth one, all right, here we go. Peter's a humble pie. So I walk in and I'm talking to the lady, and I thought, this lady looks familiar. I'm not quite sure where she's from. So in this instance, this is the business I wanted to talk about, another listing that I have to see if they wanted to expand, or was one of the two that I had in that bracket. It turns out the lady I'm talking to, I took last week with her and her partner to view another business. So the difficult thing for me is I'm pretty good with faces and names, but what throws me is context. If I see someone in a different environment, in a different uniform, I say, oh, I should know you, but I can't remember. So we just laughed that one, and I just caught up with it and said, okay, so how are we going with the other property? You just got to be flexible. So we flipped that on its head and kept working and moved forward after that. But yeah, it's a good one. The 10th one I had, I'm telling you, I did a fair few this morning, is Storage Only. So is the 11th one. The 12th one is too small. I've been in there before. 13 is a new occupier, and having a look at it, I'm pretty sure that is a national player. So we left that one up, but I'll probably do a little bit of research to get some contacts in there. The 14th one, that is a business that I'm really interested in, and I want to just work with the manager and owner who I know and have communicated with before. So I'm going to go home and do that one as a phone call, because I know that she travels a lot out west and it's easy to get her by phone. The 15th one, well, that business, I actually spoke to the owners of that business last week because they are looking to expand and acquire another business. So I'll leave that one as is because they're on my callback process. They've got material going to their board of directors. It's nice to know when you're going into territory just how many of these people are already your customers. It shows that you're making differences and making efforts. One of the things with commercial real estate and also with business brokerage is businesses tend to turn over about every 7 years. Now, we've been in business now for, I think this is our 4th or 5th year. So some of these clients are starting to come around a second time, or some of the ones that I've initially met years ago are now starting to think about, what the next phase is. And that is another reason why I keep farming that territory. A lot of people will make a cold call. If you don't get the sale there and then they'll forget about it. And for me, commercial business is about long-term business. The 16th one is a business that has 3 sites, and I've got all their details, but there's not much happening with that business at this particular point of time. And the 17th one is fairly new. I think they may actually just have updated all their signage, and they're a national player. So I'm going to go and once again do some more work on that one to see if I've already got them on my list. Now, so how did we go? Did we get any listings out of 17? No. Did we get a bit of progress? Yeah, probably a little bit, but not a real lot, and sometimes that's the way the numbers go. So what do? That's okay. I've got another street lined up, and I'm going to go and visit that one next. And that is more on like bigger premises, big box, tilt slab type buildings and businesses. So we'll see how we go. Wish I had my hat, and hopefully it gets a bit cooler so the mobile can keep going. All right, take care and God bless till the next video.
So it was at that stage when I started to do this particular video, and probably wasn't feeling all that successful. Didn't have that bigger success story. Usually, I'd have one person thinking about listing or thinking about buying. We had a couple of options. Now, I could have turned around and gone home, but it takes time and preparation to do cold calling, and you want to make sure that you get the most out of it. So I went to another section of that industrial estate, which I had previously prepared to go and do visits, and went and basically knocked on some more doors to see if I could change the result of the day. Right. So the first one was a branch, so I left that one alone. Now the next 2 were both branches, and I have listings in their respective industries. So I went and spoke to the first one. He actually knew the business that I had, which happened to be in Hervey Bay, which is a couple of hours south of where he was. Wasn't interested in buying it, but we had a good discussion, and now he knows that I sell businesses in his industry. So it was a good option. And yeah, any time that you can talk with the key decision maker is a good time. And I think I recognised that unusually, that was the first time in a day I have actually spoken to the key owner of the business. That's a bit unusual. Usually I'll get about 3 in 10. Um, and there are better times to cold call than others. I've found it by I found my own methodology and research, and also by reading. And whilst the time I had was what I had available when I was in the area, it may not have been peak time. So that could explain a little bit why I don't have as many decisions as that. Next one was similarly, it was another branch, and I've been in there before, but I hadn't been able to contact the decision maker, but I was able to get that information and talk to them again about the business that I had listing and available for them, so I can send some material to see how we're going. So suddenly, these branches who, in the first part of the day, in the smaller part of factories, wasn't getting any use. I was getting some good listings here. If I'm talking about listing discussions, and these are really good topics, and it's generated because I went cold calling. They didn't call me. It's not the magic of the internet. It's not wonderful social media. It's just hard yakka getting in the door and talking to them. And it was hot, and it was sprinkling raining. So it was tough territory. And a lot of people would have given up at the 17th client, but the professionals are the ones who continue going on. So if you're into cold calling, just keep churning through it. 21 was a branch. 22 is they had just relocated into that area. Oh, and I've got the decision maker's name for that one, and I want to talk to them again about a listing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The last 5, I had 3 good progressive meetings, and that was when the territory finished. So I pretty well shut up shop for the day. Went and got myself a haircut. Don't know if you can see my cool haircut at the back. Thank you very much, Matt, for my haircut. I was probably getting to the stage of looking a little bit young with a bit of a mullet, and it's not quite my style. So you do what you can on the way, and it's always good to catch up with a barber. They know everything about anybody in town, so it's always good to catch up. All right, I have got one more video at the end of this, and I hope you will stay tuned to watch that.